Spider-Man Far From Home, the final film in the Infinity Saga, the first three phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Does it live up to the 22 films that have come before it? Let's dive right into this review. What's up? It's Film Frenzy, delivering a very delayed review. I'm sorry about that. This is Spider-Man Far From Home, which came out July 2nd and is the final Marvel Cinematic Universe film of the year and of Phase 3. Let's get right into this review with direction and visuals. So all I have is praise for the direction and visuals. Oh my gosh, these action sequences are insane. Right from that beginning one in Venice where he's fighting the water elemental, Mysterio comes in. The part where he's hopping onto those poles from the docks. That was insane looking and really just has this awesome parkour feel to it that feels a bit more authentic considering that Tom Holland is actually a gymnast, and I thought it was just shot phenomenally. I think the CGI was top notch. This movie relies on a ton of that. I think it was shown excellently. All the fights in Europe were amazing. I love the whole visual style to the film. I think it really takes advantage of the European, the various countries that it goes to. It's a very international film. I think it takes advantage of those countries to the fullest, which I think is awesome. It's a visual spectacle, and that's not even the best part. The best part of the visuals is the fight sequences against Mysterio. With the illusion technology, it looks insane. And I mean, it's just mind-bending. It reminds me of Doctor Strange if it was less fantastical and more technological. And it's just so pleasurable to watch, and was one of the biggest reasons for why after my second watch I was so excited still, and it's such a rewatchable film because it's just so appealing to the eye. So of course I'm giving Spider-Man Far From Home a 5 stars out of 5 for direction and visuals. Second category to discuss, acting and character development. Acting and character development, another phenomenal category. I'll start with basically my two small tiny gripes with this category. The first is Martin Starr's, he plays one of the teachers, the two teachers that are the chaperones on this trip. And it's not really his fault, but I feel the writing sometimes was a little bit too goofy and just out of place in the rest of the film for him. And his characters felt a bit more like a caricature. I thought J.B. Smooth's teacher was much better and much more funny. The jokes landed more. Maybe this is more of a writing complaint, but I feel this character just wasn't used well at all, and they underused Martin Starr, and the jokes just usually fell flat and were overused, which is unfortunate. And the other thing is very small, is of course is spoilers, because it's a spoiler review, but Mysterio, so we know his backstory and how him and the rest of his team are employees of Tony Stark who were treated poorly and then fired, and I feel that's a very overdone villain backstory. It's been done so many times before with the Vulture, even in the Spider-Man Homecoming. I mean how that's a little different because he's more blue collar, but how he's left to pick up the pieces of the Battle of New York from the original Avengers film. So I thought there's definitely a bit of an overdone feel to that. But the reasoning and the rest of Mysterio's story I thought was amazing. Jake Gyllenhaal is just phenomenal. Such a great and underrated actor. I was so glad to see him fully utilized in this film. I really didn't think it was going to be that way. And though I kind of did want to see Mysterio as a hero for the rest of the film, because I thought it would be interesting if it differentiated from the comics a bit more, it was really nice to see a very different, interesting villain plot that felt very feasible, especially in this time. It felt it really fit into the post-Endgame world that the MCU was creating. I think this film really fleshes it out well. Of course, Peter's arc is just amazing. I actually prefer Tom Holland's Peter Parker in both Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, well, mostly Infinity War, he's not in Endgame much, over Spider-Man Homecoming, because I feel there was more drama and he got to show off more of his range, and he shows off even more of it in this film. The romance is phenomenal between him and MJ. The chemistry is great. Zendaya is just amazing in this film. All the supporting characters, the other teenagers, have a bit of an arc too, and their stories are fleshed out. This film balances so many subplots with so many different character arcs so expertly that those couple small gripes I don't really mind that much. I'm giving acting character development another 5 stars. And finally, I'm discussing Spider-Man Far From Home's various story elements of plot, pacing, script, and theme. There's a very different plot in Spider-Man Far From Home that I really did appreciate, and how it kind of meshes the teen vacation movie with a superhero movie. And there was times where it's it doesn't really feel like a super movie. And I thought that was nice because it felt really this is the right teenage movie and coming of age film that I've always wanted from Spider-Man. Because the older ones, they're amazing. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, well, mostly amazing. But I feel there were more superhero films films, and they focus less on the teen aspects of this. And that's what they were trying to do with Spider-Man Homecoming, but I feel like the drama fell flat. It was mostly just like comedic, and it didn't really hit me that much. This one though, oh my gosh, like, it's so relatable, the plots. I feel like that was just amazing. This is one of the best teen movies, as long as being one of the best superhero movies. That's impressive. That's an amazing feat on its own. The plot, it just does it so smoothly. I already touched upon how the subplots are done so well, and it's just insane how they put this movie together so well. Like, the pacing, like, it's a 2-hour and almost 15-minute movie. It's a decently long movie, but it feels so quick, and even on my rewatch, it felt quick, because this movie is exciting. So much action, so much plot that they condense into this time frame. It is insane, and I really did appreciate it. It felt like it didn't get repetitive at all, which is a gripe I have with many MCU films, including even Endgame. And I felt like the story arcs just kept you engaged. Mysterio's plot, the twists were awesome. They didn't feel like contrived or manipulative, which is great. And the mid-credit scene is easily the best mid-credit scene I've ever seen. It just has so much stakes by the end of the film. I feel like this movie really sets up like Phase 4 of the MCU well, which is surprising how like macro this film is when, you know, usually you think of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but they really just amp it up. And it is awesome in that regards. Plus the post-credit scene is both funny and kind of a bit important too. I thought there's a lot of just like importance and repercussions of this film that I think is just phenomenal. The script also, there's not as many jokes as in Homecoming, so this is more of a drama, but the jokes that are there, for the most part, like almost always actually, hit very hard. I thought it was very funny. The drama is always on top, never melodramatic, feels so genuine. The acting just pulls it off. Same with the directing, just all comes together for phenomenal superhero drama, which I really appreciate. I mean, that romance was just phenomenal, and I thought that was awesome. And finally, with the themes, so this film definitely touches on the main theme, I would say, is, of course, and it's kind of overt, but I don't really mind that much, the balance of Peter Parker's life with just having to deal with this teen part and the superhero part. And that's like kind of like every Spider-Man movie, but I think even though this is my favorite Spider-Man movie, this one does it best. And yes, they may mention it a bit too many times, but they really just show off just the balance between the two and how it's very tough, and you really feel for him, and you really are rooting for Peter the entire time. And I thought the themes are there. They apply to anyone living multiple lives who's trying to find a balance in their lives. It transcends superhero films overall, and I think this is just an amazing movie. I'm going to go as far as say this is my favorite movie of 2019 so far. So of course I love Spider-Man Far From Home. For this category, I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, there are a couple issues here and there, but overall it is phenomenal. And at least my final score, where there are very, very few complaints, I'm giving Spider-Man Far From Home a 4.75 out of 5. Nearly a perfect score. This is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go out and watch it. And if you've seen it already and you enjoyed it, go out and watch it again, because I can tell you, the rewatch is nearly as good as your first watch, maybe even better for some. So, thank you for watching. This is Film Frenzy signing off. Make sure to like and subscribe for more awesome movie reviews, rankings, and more. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.